Hi guys, it's Jessica. I am here today to talk to you about mindset, which there's a reason why I chose it to be the first pillar of health, in my opinion. It is the most crucial step to anything you want to accomplish, to living a healthier lifestyle, to living a happy lifestyle or happy life, whatever. Like, mindset is key. So I'm really excited to just kind of give you my overview. I will try not to talk forever about this because I totally could, but I want you to know the basics of how changing your mindset or having the right kind of mindset can take you places, and what to do about changing your mindset. So if you're looking to make changes, or if you're, starting something new, or you're trying to, change little behaviors, like everything is little behaviors, right? Our routine, our, all our daily habits, all that stuff, our habits that might not be every day, but happen a few times a week or a couple of times a month or whatever. It's all behaviors. So, a little bit about me. I'm trained as a behavior analyst. I mostly used my master's and my board certification to work with kids with autism, to teach them, appropriate skills, appropriate behaviors, and kind of like squash out, inappropriate behaviors. So that was my main work for a little over 5 years. But since then, I have actually transitioned to working with people as a health coach and teaching them how to change their behavior. So obviously kids are involved too, but it's mostly adults that I work with. Side note, I am getting to talk to the Girl Scouts next month. My daughter's a Girl Scout this year, and it's Diabetes Awareness Month next month in March, and we're going to talk about nutrition and do a little exercise. So that's kind of fun. But anyway, mindset, this goes way beyond just losing weight or whatever. Like, I don't want you to get trapped up just because that's like my main MO with what I help people with. This whole week, like every day is a different subject, and I want you to think about it more than just the one little subject itself. So when I talk about mindset, like, it has to be it's on your mind. Obviously, it's your mind all day long, right? Your thoughts are constant. Your thoughts kind of control your behaviors. So you have to get your mind under control to get your behaviors under control. So really, your thoughts, all that stuff, those are behaviors. And those have to be addressed first if you want to make physical changes, or like changes in your, physical behaviors. It all has to start up here. And I tell people this all the time, and I know some of it can sound like super hippy dippy or whatever it is, but what I want you to take away from it today is that if you have more negative thoughts than positive, if you are holding yourself back from trying something new, if you doubt yourself, if you talk negatively to yourself about yourself every day, you have to change that. You have to make like a purposeful, conscious decision to replace the negative talk with positive talk. It's not easy. I have been coaching for almost 6 years, and when I remember, from the beginning, after my coach really helped open my eyes to how I was negatively talking to myself all the time. I would look in the mirror, and the first thing I would do is point out my flaws, point out the things I wanted to change, point out the things I hated about myself or whatever, which is no way to live. Like, no matter what shape you are, no matter what you do for a living, no matter what bad stuff has happened to you, no matter bad decisions you may have made, like, that is not a reason to hate on yourself. Really caring about yourself and loving your body is like super important for just for overall happiness and for like any next steps to come. Like, the reason I'm focusing on like talking about weight loss and talking about like your relationship with your spouse and all that stuff, because it's all intertwined. When you get your mindset in the right spot, which it's a battle every day. I don't even like to say a battle. It's just, you have to make it like a conscious effort every day to check yourself. Make sure, you're having a positive mindset about things. Make sure that the negative self-talk is not constantly rolling over in your head. Because like I said, I was negatively bashing myself every day when I looked in the mirror, couldn't fit into my clothes, or just felt frumpy, or I would replay scenarios in my head where I was talking to people people and I would think about stuff I should have said instead and how stupid I was or whatever. I know everybody does that, but those people who become aware that they did that or that they do that on a regular basis and stop those behaviors, stop those thoughts, and replace them with compliments. Like paying yourself compliments is something that's so hard for people. That was one, I remember one of my first mini challenges in my client group. I would talk to them about how hard, it seemed to just pay yourself a compliment. And some people could not do it. They could not say one nice thing about themselves. And that is awful, right? Like we should be able to be our biggest cheerleader. We should be our biggest, fan, and not in a vain way. Like I truly believe that for other people to truly love you, to truly understand you, for you to get, super connected. Here I am. Sorry. My internet's being crazy. But all of that stuff to really connect with yourself, with your soul, with, with the universe, with God, whatever you want to call it, you have to truly love yourself and you have to truly accept yourself where you are, for who you are, and you can still work on bettering yourself after you accept that. So accepting yourself as you are doesn't mean you're settling. It just means you're accepting who you are and you love who you are, and hi Joan, and then you move past that. You move forward as in like, now I'm going to think positively about myself. I'm going to say nice things about myself. I'm going to realize that bad things are going to happen and that there's always a positive side to it. And like, I have noticed over the years, it seems like when somebody is more negative, like you have those people at work that are like negative Nancy's, where everything is a catastrophe. Everything's the end of the world. It's very dramatic. And then, more bad stuff keeps seeming to happen to these people. Now, obviously, if they're focusing on it and talking about the negative all the time, it's going to seem like it happens a lot more. But also, it's almost like you attract negativity if you focus on negativity. So when it comes to just like an energy standpoint, like being more positive and putting good things out into the world, you're going to invite more of that back to you. And I've seen it. I've seen the change that happened with me when I stopped saying negative things about myself. An exercise that my coach had me do was I literally would take like a 15 to 20 minute window a couple times a day, across one day. And I tallied how many times I'd said something negative about myself. And I was blown away by how many times that happened. And I wasn't even aware of how many things were going through my mind that were negative about myself. And I probably even missed some, So I challenge you to do that. If you've never done that before and you think like maybe you're a little bit of a negative thinker, or maybe you're like, well, I don't even know if I do this. Really pay attention. And so that's anything. That's like from calling yourself stupid, calling yourself fat. Like I know some people do it in like a humorous way, like the whole self-depreciating comments or whatever. But in my opinion, it just invites negativity. I know it's funny for like some things or whatever, but for the most part, I don't think that's a healthy practice. I think that that invites self-doubt. I think it invites negativity. And I think if you just own it, whatever whatever it is about yourself, and, as you commit to improving, like, then that's like the best of both worlds, because, putting yourself down, like, even if it's for humor, I think that that's like kind of a slippery slope to more negativity. So I think really improving your self-talk while, about your body, about your life, about your relationships, obviously that doesn't mean like sugarcoating stuff that like does need to be changed and pulling the wool over your eyes and like pretending not to see it. Like if you're in an unhealthy relationship, or, if your kids are in some sort of trouble that, you've got to deal with or whatever, that doesn't mean like pretending everything is sunshine and rainbows all the time. That is not this. This is focusing on the positive, bringing out the positive in situations that might be harder, or bringing out the positive in yourself. So focusing on the things you do well, focusing on the parts of your body that you really like, focusing on, the things about the relationships you're in that you really like. So focusing on the positive. If you're following a meal plan and, you kind of get off plan because you forgot your food for lunch or whatever, focus on the fact that all your other meals for the day were on plan, instead of perseverating on the fact that you ate off plan and you feel like it ruined your day. because here's the deal. Here's where having a positive mindset really helps shift from shifting your thoughts and being in a positive mindset. It shifts your actual behaviors, which in turn help you, whether you get closer or not to your goals. So let's take healthy goals, for example. So if like you're trying to lose weight or just trying to be healthier overall or whatever, if you focus on the negative, and say the example of eating off plan at lunch when you should have brought your food, but the rest of your day you were on plan and you did your workout and you're fine. If you focus on the fact that you ate off plan for lunch and that you ruined your day and have that all or nothing attitude, it's so much more likely that you will end up binge eating before bed, or that you will tell yourself that you failed that day, and then the next day you'll have that little seed of negative doubt planted into your head, and it might make you more likely to get off plan the next day, or to feel sorry for yourself and be like, I've blown today, and get off plan for the rest of the day after that lunch. So like I've seen it in people over and over and over again. If you have an all or nothing attitude, kind of a more negative outlook about those, slip ups or whatever you want to call them, just mistakes in life, things happen. If you have a more negative mindset about it, you're more likely to send yourself more off track. Instead of just picking back up with the next meal and being like, all right, I'm back on track, I'm fine. That 20%, it's going to happen. There's no such thing as perfect. So this leads me into talking about my mantra, better not perfect. Getting away from the all or nothing mentality. I wasn't necessarily all or nothing, that I didn't like go, 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 go. And then if I messed up, like I just quit. But, hey, Alita. So it was more of, I was too afraid to fail. So I didn't even try in the first place. That's the kind of all or nothing I was. And I've worked with people who are all or nothing, where they have a plan. They expect to follow it perfectly. As soon as they don't, they quit, because they're like, oh, I failed, I messed up. But that's not what it's about. It's just like, I was frustrated the other day with, it's just really challenging to get the work, especially on my computer, that I want to get done at home with little kids around, because I can't just sit at a computer because they're talking to me and there's stuff going on, and that time should be with them and all this stuff. So kind of really doing better with my time management. It's something I've got to do for my sanity and my job. So, but again, it doesn't mean that I fail and I should just give up if, I have a hard time managing it that day. It just means I just take what I can in those steps forward and celebrate the little wins, celebrate those little steps, just like you would on your fitness journey. Every day is not going to be perfect, but it's not about that. It's about taking those little steps and being proud of the little steps as you go and not giving up. Because if you stop just because you didn't reach as far as you wanted to, or because you made a misstep off to the side, of whatever, path you thought you were on, if you turn around and just give up, like, that's the only time you fail. Those little failures along the way are totally normal on the path to success. So as you can see, if you adopt the better not perfect mantra, you'll see that you don't have to follow a meal plan perfectly. I never have. Never. And I make amazing progress. I've worked with people who, as long as they stick it out and just keep going, they make amazing progress. I'd rather you stick it out and not follow it perfectly and make a real life progress than be so strict on yourself and all or nothing that you don't enjoy yourself and you're not living life, and then you get off track one day and you give up. Like, that is not a lifestyle. I want to help people make healthy living a lifestyle, and it all starts with getting healthy mentally. So my challenge for you today is to work on practicing gratitude more often. If you haven't subscribed to podcasts that kind of like walk you through gratitude practices, do so. I listen to the Allison Show and I listen to the Shalene Show. I will put those in the comments so that you can see them. But if you're not listening to some sort of like personal development that's like a positive, it's positive headspace. You need to. And obviously there's, Christian or whatever religion you are, podcasts out there that are super, super good to listen to, that they just remind you that you're not alone, and how your thoughts, cause you have 1,000 thoughts a minute, right? So it's different when you have one workout a day. You might have 3 to 6 meals a day, but your thoughts are with you always. So you have to be conscious of your thoughts always. Okay. So this is going to be something that's kind of, an ongoing behavior change, is changing your thoughts from negative to more positive. I mean, we went through loss last year. We lost a baby right before 32 weeks. We have no answers as to why. It was a very emotional, very self-destructive 6 weeks after that for the both of us, for my husband and I. But I truly believe that if I wasn't where I was mentally before that happened, with, trying to see the bright side, with being connected spiritually, with, just having a more positive outlook on life in general, that could have taken me down. Like, it totally could have taken me down. And so when people, are just like, you're so great, you have so much grace, you're so inspiring, it's because I did the work to really get in a good place mentally. So that's the reason why I want this to be your first, conscious step in living a healthier, happier life, is getting right in your mind. And it takes constant work. It's not like you're going to, immediately one day pay attention to your thoughts and have more positive thoughts than not, and then you're fixed. It's just like everything else. You can't eat healthy for one day and then be like, oh, I did it. I ate healthy. Now I can go back to whatever. It's not like that. It's just like eating healthy. It's just like exercising. It's just like saving money and not splurging on everything you want to buy. It's the same kind of thing. So when you get your mind more positive, you banish the all or nothing attitude, and you stick with better, not perfect, it's going to trickle into all areas of your life. So obviously it was very easy to apply that. Not easy, but it was easy to focus on applying that to healthy eating, to my own body image, and to my workouts, thinking better, not perfect, thinking more positively, learning to give myself compliments, learning to take compliments. Do you have a hard time if somebody's like, oh my gosh, you look amazing today, or, oh, I love this shirt? Do you say, oh, thanks, I had a little extra time getting ready, or, oh, this is from like 10 years ago, or whatever? If somebody notices that you lost weight, you're just kind of like, oh yeah, maybe a pound or something, instead of being like, thank you, I've been working hard on that, or like, yes, thank you, I love this shirt too, it makes me feel good. Like, your response to all that, not just outward to people, but also what you think in your mind, affects you so much. And I promise you, if you're more positive outwardly, if you practice expressing gratitude outwardly, you're going to get that back from the people around you. The more positive you are, the more positive people want to be around you. You'll just kind of like squash out the negative people around you. If you need to if you need to consciously rid yourself of relationships that maybe like involve toxic people, sometimes you just have to do that. I've had friends in the past that used to be really good friends of mine, and then I had to just kind of break up with the friendship because they were very critical and super negative, or, were trying to like hold me back from like things I was trying to improve upon myself, and, gossiped about people all the time. Like, I just didn't want that in my headspace. So you have to pay attention to who you surround yourself with. Listen to things that lift you up and be part of something bigger. So I hope that this group is like a big step for you as far as like being part of something bigger, being part of something positive. And I really want you to focus on your mindset starting today, and it be something that you always think about every day. Because like I said, our thoughts are nonstop in our head. So it's not just something that happens once a day, like a workout that you got to think about and practice. It's all day, every day. So you need to give yourself more grace. You need to realize that you're not alone. You need to think more positively and learn how to give yourself compliments. You need to practice gratitude, express what you're thankful for, to the person you're thankful for. One of the biggest changes as far as relationships go is expressing like what I'm thankful for to my husband more often, like thankful that he helped out with the kids, or that he made dinner, or that we got some one-on-one time and we made eye contact and had a conversation, those kind of things go a long way to building up your relationships, and I try to express my gratitude to friends, like when they're thoughtful. Seems like a lot of my friends are way more thoughtful than me to like send birthday cards out on time and, stuff like that. So I make sure that I express my gratitude for that instead of saying, God, I suck. I never send out birthday cards on time and get really down on myself about it and kind of like perseverate in my head about it. Instead of doing that, I just give them props for being so on it and so awesome, and give myself forgiveness for, you know, maybe not being as on it as I wish I was. And then maybe set a mini goal to schedule some time to pay attention to when my next friends' birthdays are and try to send out birthday cards the next month. You know what I mean? There's no reason to be so hard on yourself that you make yourself miserable, because it doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve anybody else. And you cannot move forward with so many of your healthy behaviors if you're holding yourself back mentally. When people talk about having mental breakthroughs and then like their world opening up, it's so true, because it all starts here. It really, 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 really does. So if you are more in love with yourself, your spouse can love you more. Your kids can love you more. I know it sounds quacky, but it's true. Let me look at my notes just right quick to make sure I covered everything. Oh, positive affirmations. This is a lot like what I was talking about with just replacing the negative talk with the positive talk. But maybe try every morning. It doesn't really matter when you do it, but morning is just good because it kind of starts your day. But try saying positive affirmations about yourself, about your life, about what you're going to accomplish. You can even look up positive affirmations online. If you're like, I have no idea what to say, look them up. You can just, you know, there's just blanket statements out there that kind of work in general for people. And a lot of people start their day with saying, I am awesome. Today is going to be a good day. Today, I'm going to tackle my to-do list. Today, I'm going to be confident. Today, I'm going to eat on my plan. Today, I'm going to help somebody who really needs it. Today, I'm going to do amazing work. Whatever it is. Like, basically, you're just declaring it and putting it out into the universe, and it makes it so much easier for that to come to you, okay? And state things sometimes like they've already happened. I paid off debt this year. I hit my goal weight this year. You know, I actually write some of my goals down like I've already accomplished them. But you can say, I will, whatever too. Just whatever works for you, whatever makes sense for you. But putting positive things out there will help you attract positive things. So are there any other questions or input about this before I kind of wrap up? Because I'm telling you, me changing my mindset to be more positive and to quit hating on myself, it was kind of like open the floodgates for me making physical change, for me, you know, being easier to stick to, you know, choosing healthy food more often than not, to, you know, getting my workouts in and to being proud of myself and to being okay if things weren't perfect. It really improved my marriage. It really helps me be a better mom and like banish mom guilt. I'm not perseverating on what I didn't do right today with my kids. I'm focusing on what I did do right. You can't do everything every day. It's just, it doesn't work that way. So my underlying mission is to help you find your balance. So to help you find your balance from everything in life. You know, you've got work, you've got kids, you've got your marriage or your relationships or your friendships, your family, your, you know, if you want to do like volunteer work or, you know, you got house stuff, you got whatever, you know, if you're trying to start a business, if you're trying to get more organized, if you're trying to get out of debt, like, you know, all those things matter and they're all easier if you just shut off the negativity. Don't leave room for it in your head. There's no room for it. Just think about like if your mind was, you know, limited space and you had marbles in your head, there's only so many marbles that are going to fit. Are more of your marbles negative marbles and they're kind of taking up too much space where your positive marbles are like few and far between? I really want you to work on being conscious this week about replacing your marbles and having them be more positive. Okay? More positive marbles in there and really focus on your self-talk. So really speak sweetly to yourself. That was kind of the verbiage that my coach used was speak sweetly. Like speak to yourself how you would want somebody to talk to your children. Like, would you tell your children that, you know, that they're fat, that they're stupid, that they can do better? Like, you wouldn't do that. So speak to yourself how you would want somebody to speak to your child, because it does make a difference. If you really get down onto like a cellular level with it, our bodies are made up of like 70+% water, and molecules in water actually can change when, you know, music's played for them, when, like plants, you know, they can change. They've actually done studies with water under a microscope, and they either yelled at it, or they said blessings over it, or just gave it compliments. And I know it sounds crazy, but the water molecules changed and formed patterns. So in the comments, I'll put the podcasts that I recommend. I'll put the specific episodes about gratitude. And then I'll also post a link to the water experiment. I saw it first on a documentary called What the Bleep Do We Know? And so there's this scientist that has done experiments, and they've recreated it with like rice and plants and all this stuff, and shows how, you know, positive and negative words affect those molecules. Oh, there I am. We are living molecules, and so we'd kind of be like doing ourselves a disservice to think that it doesn't matter, that it doesn't affect us. So anyway, sorry my internet glitched a couple of times, but hopefully this message came across. And what I want you to do is smile at yourself more. So if you look in the mirror and you immediately start going towards your flaws, stop. Pay yourself a compliment and give yourself a smile. Smile at other people. Start expressing more gratitude, and just really start turning that self-talk from negative to positive overall. Like, bad things are going to happen, crazy things are going to happen, but I promise if you have a more positive overall thought process, if your verbiage to yourself is more positive, then it'll make a huge, huge difference in, you know, your day-to-day life, your progress, especially if it comes to like weight loss, to getting out of debt, to starting a business. Like, just push the self-doubt away and focus on being positive. So I hope this was helpful, and if you guys have any questions or any input you want to add, just post it below. And tomorrow we're going to talk about nutrition. So look in the comments for the extra details from this live, and thank you guys for tuning in.